there.
All right.
And then we'll start our show.
And I brought my book in case we want to show people the cover because it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And then I got my angel cards. I'm so excited. My cards are done. They're ready. This is like the prototype. They're better now, but.
Oh, wait, I'm not looking at you. I have to look at this other screen for 1 sec.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just doing the switch over screens.
All right.
We'll show everybody everything.
Exciting stuff.
We're going to do about half an hour, 35 minutes, and then I have another show right after that. Okay, here we go. We are going to call this With Your Angel. Sorry about messing up your thing yesterday. You know what? I had 20 people here for Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh.
I was just like trying to do everything in between.
Yeah. I was just like, I can't post this.
I know. It was okay.
People to be like, huh?
It was just been crazy here.
Yeah.
All my kids coming and the grandkids, and then I'm having another baby being born this week, and we're just like, Okay.
It's a busy house.
Good to see if it's gonna go live. It never tells me when I'm live, so I'm hoping.
It's telling me meeting is now streaming.
Excellent. Well, hello there then. My name is Frankie Picasso. I am your host today of the Good Radio Network, the Good Media Network, and our show today is Frankie Sense and More. Angels have fascinated humanity for eons, and there is many stories as there are versions that depict them. But my guest today can tell you what they really look like, as he wrote a book titled Walking with My Angels, which is his autobiographical tale that tells his life journey with angels, beginning around the age of 5 when he remembers communicating with his guardian angel, never questioning the spirit or the guiding of his life. But 30 years ago, he was told he would write a book that would change lives, and that just by holding this book, the reader's vibration would be raised to the next level. Keith Leon has witnessed earthbound angels, time reversal, and even though there were times in his life where it seemed that the heavenly messenger was missing in action, I hazard to say that perhaps it was Keith himself who was missing from his own life. We'll talk about that. I'd like to introduce you to Keith Leon, who is an international, multiple best-selling author, book publisher, and speaker, also known as the Book Guy. He's a very talented musician and singer who has made music with the likes of Stevie Wonder, Gloria Loring, and Nancy Wilson, to name a few. Bob Proctor wrote the intro for his life purpose book, Walking with My Angels, and today he is excited to help you meet your heavenly helpers. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Hello. Wow. You know, I'm always being asked this question, so I'm going to ask you this question. Why now? Why did you write the book now?
Because I was told to.
Okay, so there's a good reason.
I was told I would write the book over 30 years ago, and then there was a really long waiting period where I was doing all the things that I needed to do and kind of put in place and the world needed to do so that it would come out at the perfect time. And then a few years ago, I was told it's time. And I was like, for the book? Yes. Right?
All
right.
So
I got right to work and I got it done. And then it was like, okay, so when do I put it out? Not yet, not yet, not yet. Oh, really, really, really? So it was like a couple of years between write the book and when.
Oh my gosh, really? I remember, when I finished a book, it's like, let's get it out, let's get it out. It must have been so hard to sit on it.
Especially as a publisher, like I know what to do, I know how to do it, I can make it happen fast because I have the team. And it was like, wait for it, and a couple of years. So
did you go back and read it before you put it out again?
I didn't, and I wished I had because.
No, good that you didn't. I was going to say you would have changed the whole book. No, I would have.
Because people have come up to me and said, "Oh, I love when you shared this," and I go, "I said that," and I went back and read it, and I was like, "Oh, I can't believe I shared that." It was just such a vulnerable piece of work. I literally have. There's nothing
you didn't hide. Yeah, you didn't hide anything, which I thought was really good. And I mean, I was going to say that you were snorting white lines like some people eat Lay's, but.
Yes, it's true.
And I wonder, I'm going to ask you this. I have to ask the question that I think my readers or listeners are going to ask you. So, did you ever think, man, I hallucinated this? I did so many drugs, like, woo.
Well, I've had every thought that you can imagine, like I had a psychologist say, in your childhood, you had no father, you had no mother, nobody was raising you. Could you have made that up? And I said, well, does a made up character say that woman is going to be your wife in the future, and then she ends up being your wife in the future? Like predict events and all the things that happen to
Right.
me, literally save your life, like by scooping you when you fall over a cliff, scooping you and lifting you up from underneath. I mean, it's just, there's way more than I could even imagine. My imagination isn't that great. Let's just say it that
Okay.
way.
Okay. And I guess the other question I had, why you?
Why me? Yeah.
Why you? Everybody must ask you that. Why you? Why not me? Why not him, her, whatever? Like, why are
Yeah.
you so important? All
Yeah.
these angels are around you.
And I asked that over and over and
Did
over.
you?
And in the book, in my early 20s, an earthbound angel was sent to me, and like a real one, like they're
Yeah.
assigned certain people to take them from believing in nothing to everything, so they can put them on their path, reveal their purpose, save their life. In my case, and so I always wondered why me. And so the good news was at the end of our relationship, like I got the answer to that.
Oh, you did?
So yeah, so there like was a purpose for me to be here on this earth, and I had to live into that purpose.
Doesn't
And I was
everybody have a purpose?
absolutely, absolutely. But I was told that if I had died before my predetermined expiration date, this is my angel's words, not mine, that it would have a not so great effect on the planet.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, that was like, what does that even mean? Like, not so great effect? Like, what? It was too vast. It was too big. And it told me a lot of things that have come to pass that at the time were just seemed like, whew, wow. I felt like maybe he'd been smoking something. Tell me all this stuff. I'm like, what?
Say
So,
what? But
yeah,
your mom also, she heard, was she precog, or did she see the angels or hear the voices, or
she was
she had a
psychic.
little bit, she was psychic.
Yeah, she always called it mother's intuition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at one time she did have heard the voice of my angel. One
Oh.
time she was really, she was depressive, and she was really had a down day one day, and she decided she was going to take herself out, and me and my sister closed all the doors and windows and turned on the gas. And
Ooh.
my angel said, you can't do that, turn off the gas. And then she ignored it, and the voice became even louder and said, you cannot do that, turn off the gas. And so she was like, oh, what the heck? And she turned it off. And she didn't tell me that story until she was on her deathbed. And I told her that I've been telling people at that point that I had almost died 7 times, but when I counted on my fingers, I could only find 6. And so she said, oh, God, so I have to tell you something, and that's your 7. And then she told me that. And so it was like,
Wow.
I innately knew there was that one time, but she had never put words on it.
And does she want to take, I'm always curious because, you read a lot about mothers, and usually mothers more than fathers, who take their children with them when they commit suicide. And was it because she was afraid to leave you alone, or was it just because she wanted to take you with her, or did she say?
I think it's with her. I know that had to
Yeah.
be it,
Yeah. Yeah.
because she grew up in a certain faith that believes that, family always stays together. So I think she thought in her head, if we all go, then we'll all be together.
And her faith didn't say that there was something wrong with suicide.
Yeah, I didn't say she was great at it. She was raised in it. I had to remind her a lot of times.
Was she Mormon? Was your mom Mormon?
Yeah.
Yeah. My father was my father. My husband was brought up in that religion, and I know that, but usually they believe that even, you're going to die 20 years from now, you're still going to be part of their eternal family, right? I guess
Exactly.
if you're in the
I had to
temple.
remind her a lot of things about her religion over the time, like even down like when she was having fear, when death was coming, and she was having fear. And I reminded her that, that Jesus said it happens as you believe. So she was believing like something horrible was going to happen. So I got her to switch that belief.
Good.
I said, do you have faith that you're going to see your family in heaven and all the things that you've been taught for all these years? Do you have faith that that's true? Yes. Then that's what you got to believe, because it happens as you believe. So, what do you believe? What do you believe? What do you believe?
Yeah.
And she had a shift and was able to let go. So it's amazing.
There's in the quantum world, I'm going to switch to quantum right now. We talk about living backwards in time. And when you want to have something, when you want to manifest something, or you want to have something in your life, you can live backwards in time. And so you've already got it right today, but let's live backwards in time to see how we got there. It's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah.
But your time reversal was almost that in a very, very quick way.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk about the 2 time reversals that you mentioned, because it's very interesting, and what time reversal is.
Yeah. The first one I had is like what they call a life review. So that was like a car accident. We hit this box and we were goners, right? We both heard the crash and the glass break and the metal ripple and all that. And then all of a sudden it was like boom, flash from womb through all childhood all the way up to present moment, which was like 17 years old. All the main moments, snapshots of my
Yeah.
life playing like a film forward, and then it just like came to right up to the present time in the accident, and then it just like stopped like a film, and then it reversed and went in reverse and then went backwards and then went all the way back to the womb, and then poof, and then I opened my eyes and it was as if the accident hadn't even happened, and we had proof that it had, literal proof, and that's in the book, that it had happened. But we were both safe and car was safe and everything. It was crazy. Then the other time was when I was standing out on a car lot, and there was a motorcycle on this street, and the street was doing this parking lot slow moving thing, but the motorcycle hadn't noticed that everybody was stopped in front of them, and this motorcycle like hit the back of a van and flew through the window, and glass broke, and I hear children screaming and everything, and I yelled no at the top of my lungs, and when I did that, everything went in reverse. The guy, glass goes backwards, the guy pushes off the back of the truck, the van, and then lands on his feet like on the sidewalk going no way, because he had experienced the same thing that I did.
I needed you when I had my motorcycle accident, because I ended up in the hospital for 6 months.
Yeah, and that really, my stepfather, my mom married this guy, and 5 days after the wedding, he was killed on a motorcycle. So I had a connection with motorcycle and death and the loss of him and everything. And so that really, I believe, was the connection, right? So it was like motorcycle, boom, and my instinct was no. And as soon as I said that, then it was just as if my word commanded a time reversal. So and then there was one witness to that, which is in the book, which is a guy named Carl, who was on the lot, who was a very, very spiritual guy, and he
freaked out a little bit, didn't
he
he?
was freaked out. He was like,
He's like, I don't want to get away from me. I don't want to be around you.
He thought it was like evil or something, and then when I talked him down from the ledge, then he was just like, wow, that was amazing. And it had to be God. It had to be God, he said. So.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember going to see a channeler after my accident, a year or so after the accident, because I'm like, so where are my angels? Like, where were they? And he's like, they're apologizing. He said they kind of like looked away for a second or something like that, and he said, but you're not dead. You're not dead. And I go, true. He goes, it was supposed to be more like a baseball bat than a tree trunk.
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't know. But anyway, it was severe and life altering for sure.
There's so many moving parts. There's so many moving parts now, and so many ways that we can get taken out.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, my understanding is that we usually get three exit times through our life, and we can choose to go or not. And I've had many of those, like yourself. I've had a lot of accidents that were really bizarre.
Hey, somebody asked me the other day on an interview, are you accident prone? Are you this like not careful, or what's happening?
Yeah.
No, I think we all have those close calls, and a lot of times don't even know how close.
That's right. It's so interesting, really. It's interesting to look back on your life and go. So John enters your life. You had your guardian angel who you talked to as a child, and you believed in him, but then enters John, the earth angel, and you're like, man, get away. You're kind of full of shit. I don't believe you. And what got me in your book was they worked so hard on you. They didn't give up, and they were patient, and just like, you're such a hard head, and and they're still there going, I would have forget this guy. If he can't help himself, good, too bad for him. I'd be a terrible angel. But yeah.
I used to joke around and call him Job, because Lord knows he had the patience of Job.
Yeah.
And,
so tell the audience about your first meeting with him. It was in a bar, right?
Yeah, it was at a bar.
That's where you meet angels, in bars.
In bars. I was bartending. It was like first day on the job, first shift. and I'm meeting all the new people, and it's like it's a zoo. And the only reason I got that gig was because I was there applying, and when somebody called in sick, and I was like, hey, just give me a shot, And so the guy
Didn't your
did.
angel tell you to go there that day?
Of
Was that
course.
another job? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, I got fired from one or quit one job and then walked down the street and walked into that building. But I always was following divine guidance, whether I knew it or not. But
Yeah.
so I would say yes. So there's this one guy as we're serving, and I said, what'll it be? What do you have? And he looks at the guy next to him and goes, he'll learn. And I'm like, he'll learn. What does he mean by that? And then he tells me what he wants to drink. And so I get it for him and I put it in front of him. And then I go about serving everybody else. And then at one point I look over and his drink's empty. And so I'm like, oh, so I get him his 2 drinks and put it in front of him, pull the cups away. And he looks at the guy next to him and goes, he learned. And I'm just like, what is this guy's problem? But the thing that got my attention, and that's what he wanted to do, get my attention. And so I really noticed him. And he was kind of this kind of cool, dark, mysterious guy, like E.F. Hutton. For my old people will know what I mean. When he speaks, people listen, and they lean in, but he rarely speaks. So I got to know him well enough to say, hey, do you want to hang out after work? And then we developed a friendship, and then over time he started to reveal who he was in certain ways, because I really believed in nothing at the time. So he couldn't just come out and say, I'm an earthbound angel. He had to do a lot just to get me there.
Yeah.
And then once he did reveal who he was, that was day one of training, So
Yeah.
spent like between a year and a year and a half, I think close to a year and a half with me, taking me from believing in nothing to believing in everything so that I could fulfill my purpose.
Just want to give a shout out to Ariane. Hi, Ariane. If you have any questions for Keith, don't, write it in the little comment section there, and hit the little big wow button there, because that means that Facebook will spread us wider and further into their audience. So please hit that button for me. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Hit the wow button. It's wow. So he spent about a year and a half with John, and he showed you lots of stuff, and it's lots of stuff you didn't believe in, even as your eyes were witnessing it.
Yeah.
And he took you somewhere to a church in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that was Larry.
That was Larry. Larry, that's right. Larry looked in his coffee cup and said, we got to go somewhere.
Yeah. A vision in a coffee cup.
A visionary coffee cup. Well, listen, lots of psychics look in the teacup, so why not a coffee cup?
Yeah.
And he took you to the middle of nowhere to meet a guy who self-described as, I'm smelly, I'm old, like nobody wants to talk to me, but he had his own church on a mountain. Well, was it his church, or he was just attending church?
At a church. It was like a hay bale church.
A hillbilly church.
Yeah, up in the mountains, and once we arrived there, we sat down, and my friend Larry was like, that's the guy that was in my vision. And the guy turns around and he just smiles at us like he was expecting us. And then after the service, he came over and said, oh, thanks for coming. I saw you in a vision. And Larry's like, I saw you in a vision. And he invited us back to.
We're visionaries.
Yeah. I was out of it. I had been up forever, on crystal meth, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. I just came for the ride, because whatever Larry does is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So I came, and that was just an incredible connection.
Were you still with your first wife then?
Yeah, my practice wife. Yeah.
Your practice wife? Yeah. Your starter wife. You both were doing a lot of meth and stuff. Like, you're both pretty messed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And did the angels never say, go get help?
No, I think
or we like you high.
Part of
the purpose.
It's part of the thing, I think, because you have to hit bottom. You have to hit bottom before to truly start the road to healing. Otherwise, it's just going to be for a while, and you'll be right back at it. So
that's right.
Sit back and watch, and probably just cringe the whole time, watching this happen in front of his eyes, knowing he can do anything at any time to stop it. But so I know that it was part of the experience. And
anyway, so you were talking to this gentleman with Larry, because I was fascinated by that for some reason, and he took you to his home.
Yeah,
which was just the camper without a truck.
Yeah, those little peanuts, dinky little thing, and he had like nothing, but he offered us everything, and it was just amazing. And then at one point he was like, hey, I want to go let me show you the land. And so we went down the land. He's like, Keith, you're gonna love something I've got on the land. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So we walked down
You're
and
like, if there's no drugs on it, I'm not gonna love it.
yeah, is it a crystal? Is it a crystal? Yeah. So, but it might as well have been because it was a stream, and he said it was magic water, and it would replenish me and rejuvenate me and make me, like make me feel good. And I'm like, okay, whatever, it's water. And I drank it, but when I drank it, it was like drinking pure electricity. And with every sip, I was restored. And by the time I finished a few handfuls, it was like I had 10 hours of sleep and had not done that big run of time up that I did. I just felt like boom, present and well, and it was amazing. So after
Why
that,
do you think you were told to go there? What do you think the purpose of that was? The water, the
oh,
restoration? What?
the whole experience. Then later the alien
Oh,
visitation.
that's right, the alien visitation.
I think that had something to do with it. Like he had experienced this visitors from another planet over and over again on his land, and he had thought like nobody will ever believe this, and I don't have any friends anyway, so who am I gonna tell?
Yeah.
So we were there. He was like, hey, let me share this with you, and then we went out and he like summoned them basically, and then this giant ship came and the light.
Did you see them?
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh, you saw. They were big, little.
Well, I just saw the
stream.
craft.
Yeah.
That was over.
But the aliens themselves didn't come down and sit around. No.
That would have probably been too much for me at the time.
But I thought it was interesting that he said that he's like, well, thank God I'm not like crazy. This is like for real. You guys saw it, right? You guys.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And Mar and I, we had experiences where we'd seen people who aren't on the earth, and so we're constantly asking people, do you see them that aren't us? because we like where my mother was in hospice, at this facility, there was the lady that we saw that just like scared us, and we were like, what's that lady's deal? And we asked like all the staff, and they were like, oh no, oh no, that lady though, she passed away like 6 months ago.
Oh wow.
And so Mara and I realized, well, we both can see them, so we can't ask each other, do you see that?
Yeah.
That would not help us. So we had to start asking other people, do you see somebody right there?
The angel that you talked to as a child, your guardian, did you see him or just hear him?
Hear.
You heard him.
Yeah.
Okay. But you did see, there was one part in the book, and I can't remember, I don't know if it was when your mom died or something, but there was like 8 angels around somebody, like masses of them. Do you remember that part?
Well, I had an out-of-body experience toward the end of my journey with Mark, where he took me to out of body over to the campfire, and there was all these entities and beings of light. Is that what you're talking about?
I can't remember. I just remember the number 8. There was like 8 angels surrounding somebody, and I was just wondering, what did they look like?
Yeah.
Just light? Ethereal light, or did they look like something? Or
yeah, all different. Like one was like Jesus, and another one was a very, very old like Indian chief, like wisdom and wrinkles, and then there was one that was just like had no figure, and it was just light, and so they were just all different kind of avatars and beings and ancestors, from my past.
And was that what you expect to see, or did you expect feathers and all that kind of cherubs?
Well, at that point, I didn't expect to see anything, and so I think that's
no, but just in your own version of I'm a kid, like what do angels look like?
Yeah.
Did you ever think about what angels look like?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I would have for sure thought, feathers, and like I had seen, pictures in the Bible, right? That's just all I had, my only reference. So that was what I would have.
Yeah. I guess if you were you brought up Mormon too for a little while?
Yeah.
So you had the angel Mariah, right?
Yeah.
To kind of as a reference point.
Yeah.
I guess. Or Moroni. It's Moroni, right?
Moroni.
I can't remember.
Moroni.
I think it's Moroni, yeah. I'm not Mormon, I'm sorry. Excuse me, people. I'm sorry, I apologize. My sister-in-law, who definitely would get mad at me for that. Oh geez, that just went right out of my head. Whew, that's crazy.
Well, while you get that question, look at this cover. I'm in love with this cover.
It's beautiful.
She's so amazing. Our cover artist that did this.
Tell people how to get in touch with you too before we run out of any time.
Oh, well, to get the book, if you go to walkingwithmyangelsbook.com, walkingwithmyangelsbook.com, you can get the book. And as long as you're getting the book, you might as well get like $1,600 worth of free stuff from
Wow.
my incredible friends and partners, and they all just gave me stuff to kind of support you in your process. Plus, there's a video from me, so it's like buy the book, get the stuff. You can do that.
Keep the stuff.
Yeah, buy the book, get the stuff, and then Beyond Belief Publishing is where you can find out more. Just find out more there.
You say in the book that you want to help people find their heavenly helpers.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Oh, I love that you asked that. All right. So I call them angels. You may not call them angels. I have heard this called God, Spirit,
Yeah.
Universe,
Whatever version you want.
Intuition, divine guidance, inner GPS. I like to say, like, they don't care what you call them as long as you call them.
Right.
So that's the thing is, I love to teach people sit, ask, and listen, right? So a lot of us are sitting, meditating, praying, right? A lot of us are asking questions all day long. But when do we really sit long enough and listen for the answer, or focus long enough to get the answer? And so the listen is the most important part of this process, sit, ask, and listen. And so if you have time to sit, ask, and then stay in the same spot and do not be moved until you receive the answer, then you'll get it. If you do have to get up and go about your business, keep asking the question, all through the day. Even if you're at work, wherever you are, you're driving, just keep asking the question, which will have you awake and aware to receive the answer when it comes. And the answer doesn't always come with like a bright light and an angel. Somebody might walk up to you that you don't know, deliver a message, and then walk off, and it's the answer to the question.
Walk on. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're listening to this, I'm sure, and they're going to say, "How do I know who is not my voice? Is it? What if it's in my voice? Is that still the answer? Did I make it up? How do I know the difference?"
I'm just going to say yes. Yes is the answer to any question that you'll ask me, because that's the one thing that my angel taught me is if we can even imagine it, think it, is possible. So we are, okay, how can I put this? We are made up of energy,
Yep.
right? We're just like all this energy that came and formed together in this body. So we're made up of pure energy, and everything is energy.
Yep.
And there is no time or space. So we have a direct connection with all that is, with God, Spirit, Universe, with energy, whatever you want to call it. We have direct connection with that. So you having a thought, an angel telling you, God, Spirit, Universe giving you the answer no matter what. If it's the answer to the question, yes. Yes, that's the answer to that question. As long as you get the answer, it serves you, it takes you to your next level. It's like, you call it whatever you like, but you received the answer.
Okay, you became a master manifester. I love it.
Say that 3 times fast.
Master manifester. You and you talked about when you were looking for a wife or a partner in life, and I got a hair in my eye. Sorry, and you asked for a medium to dark skinned woman with a big nose and a big butt.
Yeah.
And enter Maura.
Yeah.
Now I look at your wife. She doesn't have a big nose. What did you want a big nose woman for?
She does. She's got that like awesome Italian nose.
Yeah.
It's just, if I looked at features, those were the features that I liked. And,
okay.
And she was blown away because all the things that she didn't like about her features were the things that
you like
asked for, like literally asked for. And so she's been on this journey of weight release with me now, so her booty's definitely a lot smaller now, but when we met it was big. So yeah, that was
can I say it, because Keith lost over 150 pounds, like, yay.
Yeah.
As my WW helpers would say. So that's super impressive. Yeah,
so that was just me being very specific with the universe, because my angel had told me the first woman that I was going to be with, like at childhood, that would be my wife, but he didn't say it would be forever.
Yeah.
So I got clear on that. So then I did a lot of healing. I had to do a lot of healing, and I had to, once I did a list of everything that I wanted in my mate, I realized I had to become that myself, because like attracts like.
Vibrational like, yeah.
I went to work and had to do all the work to be that list. And then once I did that, I knew that I would find her. So I was very specific with the list, because I wanted to not mess it up this time. If I was
Yeah.
going to do it
Yeah.
again, I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure this was the one. So, and I only said like qualities, but I also said physical things so that when she came through the room, I would know, including her light went into the room before she did, which is exactly what happened. It was like, oh, this light came through, and then she came through and was everything that I had said. So I knew the second she walked in the room that was her, but then I had to play it cool.
I want to, if I could just add to your list for a moment,
Yeah.
because I do teach people, about manifesting partners. One of the
Yeah.
things I do. And I'd like to add how you want to feel in that relationship, because I think it's really important, not just what they look like or what they do, but how do you want to feel in your relationship? Because that's what you want in a partner. You want them to feel safe. You want to feel loved. You want to feel, recognized. You want to feel whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think it's important to ask for that too.
Yeah, and we did that too when we got together.
Yeah.
We addressed a lot of that, like what was our mission together now that we were together?
Yeah.
What did we want to create? And we really wanted to be an inspiration to people and have people say, oh, I can have that. Like to be a walking, talking demonstration of this is beautiful people that actually communicate well look like, right? And so many people came up and put words, those exact words that we had said in our mission statement for years and years. And we were just like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
So you created the life that you want.
Yeah.
You created the partner that you want.
Yeah.
Where are you going next?
I am going on the road. I'm on the road right now. So for the next year, I'm out on the road, and I'm going to be just meeting with you and teaching people how to make connection, right? To get answers to the questions that they always wanted to know and couldn't get to themselves. So to create that connection. And then the promise of the book for years ago, and which is, I didn't really hear myself say the words, and I had said them for years until a few months before the book came out. But they said that anybody that held the book in their hands would be raised to their next level of vibration. That's what they told me. And so I also got, you're going to serve 100 million people. And I'm like, 100 million, how am I going to get to that? So then I was telling somebody, that anybody who holds holds it in their hands will be raised to their next level of vibration. And then I was like, oh, that's how, because even if somebody like gets it and they throw it on the table, every person that comes over and picks it up and goes, what's this? And flips through it, whether they read it or not, they just got what they were supposed to receive from the book.
Yeah.
So it's an energy raise. It's a quantum thing, like you were saying. It's an energy raise through vibration that is in the book. And so that's what was interesting. A radio host a couple of weeks ago said, I haven't had the time to read the book, but when I picked it up, it was like, whoa, she was like, this energy was coming off of it. What's that about? And
that's crazy.
Interesting you can say that.
Did the angels ever talk about the fifth dimension?
They didn't specifically, but my friend's mother, Norma, who's another messenger for me, Norma Milanovic, she was kind of like Abraham before Abraham was Abraham.
Yeah.
She talked a lot about that and taught me a lot about that. And then we were actually at her house one time, which had a portal in the house, which is pretty crazy. My wife and I were just walking by this mirror, and we were like, whoa, what's happening with this mirror? She's like, oh, that's a portal. So we need to talk. She went to work and taught me that. So I learned about it, back with John, but he didn't.
He didn't specifically say it.
Because I was so new. Yeah, because I was so brand new. He didn't use words like fifth dimension.
Yeah.
I would go to another place with it. So he would say, multiple dimensions, timelines. He talked about multiple timelines.
Yeah.
Said it kind of different other ways that I would be able to wrap my little brain around it, which was about this big at that point.
There was a point in the book where you questioned if maybe you were Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you still question that today, or you wonder?
Well, it's like I think I said somewhere in the book, and if I didn't, I love to share with people that when I was really young, I went to a psychic, and she was like saying, "Oh, in one life you were a swashbuckler, in one life you were this, in one life you were a Jesus," and I said, "Of course," and she looked at me like, "What?" And I said, I've been all of those things and am all of those things. It's just swirling mass energy flying everywhere. So there's molecules passing through me that were in Jesus, and I'm sure Buddha, and there's been a molecule of everyone has at least passed through my body, if not been in there for a while. So it's like, we're all one. I'm a kid. We're all one, pretending to be separated. She was just like, What are you
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about?
That's a phenomenal way to put it. I like that.
And that's
And
what was,
one last thing in the book, which is kind of fascinating to you, said that clergy recognize you as being somebody that they've known for a long time.
and that, yeah, and that's why I had that thought,
Yeah.
that I was at least one of the 12, right? Because they would just come up and say, "Don't I know you?" over and over and over and over again. So I started thinking about like what's around them all the time, and it's that picture of Jesus
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
12 apostles that they would feel like
Unless
they,
you were the Virgin Mary.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But, somewhere in that group, right? With at least one, if not all of those things, because they would just say, "I know you, I know you," and I finally had a standard answer that I say in the book, and that's like, "You do, but let's not try to figure out where. Let's just
Yeah.
say nice to see you again."
Yeah. 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 That's
Because
great. I
they
love
would
it.
go crazy trying to figure it out.
I think that's great. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah. So Walking with My Angels is the book. You can go to walkingwithmyangelsbook.com or Amazon, different places, but you get if you buy it from your site, you're going to get all of those
Yeah, it'll send
wonderful
you the
gifts.
Amazon, sends you the Amazon, then you just come put your order number in, then you get all the free stuff. So it's,
Okay, that's fantastic. Good for you to have so many friends.
yeah,
Yeah. It's good to
incredible.
have friends. And it's
Yeah.
good to get gifts.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, Keith, thank you so much for being my guest today. It was awesome meeting you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
really, yeah. Oh, and did you ever do a CD or anything? Can people come and listen to you? You do have a gorgeous voice. You really do.
Yeah, that's the, if you go to Beyond Belief Publishing, you'll see all the support programs and products on there. I
Oh,
have
okay. I didn't know about that
three
one.
different CDs. So I have, and one of them is brand new, and it's all like spiritual angel, angel themed CD.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
And the other music that you did, is it like gospel or is it contemporary or?
it's always uplifting, like Soul Play opening. That's such a good CD. So like the first 4 or 5 songs are like spiritual, and then it gets into like motivational. And so everything that I do is going to uplift you. And it's
Nice.
and even when I'm talking about God, it's a universal God. So whatever God you believe in, you're going to hear your God in it.
Or spirit, universe, whatever I
Yeah,
am. Yeah. Just
exactly. You're
change
going
the
to
name and call it what you want.
exactly, and you'll hear whatever you believe in the music,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
yeah,
And think about that when you die too, because that's what you're going to see.
that's right.
Again, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
My pleasure.
I
Thank you.
really appreciate it. Take care.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye. We're going to switch hats. As Keith leaves us, we're going to be going to Mission Unstoppable. We're going to be meeting an investigative journalist, Asia Banduri, who is absolutely amazing and has taken on the FBI and the U.S. government. So stay tuned for her. Yeah. Yeah, she's a badass. She really is. She's going to be coming up here in just a few minutes. Tell me something good today. Oh, there we go. Hi, Branch. You're with us. I see. I don't hear him yet, but I know that he's with us because I see his name.